The 1920s was a great time for the U.S. as we just ended World War I with a victory, as well as the economy was doing great, it was boosting, but this all came to an end on October 29th, 1929, when the stock market crashed 12% in one day. As you can see in this graph right here, the last part of 1929, as well as the first part of the early 1930s, the stock market and investments went down drastically. And this was known as Black Tuesday on October 29th, and this kicked off the Great Depression. One of the worst parts of the Great Depression, in my opinion, was the banking system completely collapsed. By the end of the Great Depression, over 1/3 of all banks were completely shut down, were wiped out. And one bad part of it was people really wanted to withdraw their money because they wanted to keep it in their own safe hands, and this even helped. This helped demolish the banking system even worse, as they had no money to run on. Businesses were shut down because their money supply was just not there anymore. It shifted consumer confidence as people didn't want to buy near as much anymore. To make things worse, in the middle of the 1930s, farmers in the midwestern parts of the United States had a dust bowl. This was a combination of a bad drought with poor farming techniques, as farmers overused fields and it allowed there to be wind erosion and kicked up all the dust, and it pretty much ruined most people's lives in the United States, as there was a drop in food production as well as farmers lost their job. Um, and you couldn't really import anything at this time because of the Smoot-Hawley tariff, and this was taxing imports. And during this time as well, the exports were dropped almost 2/3%. So imports and exports were completely shut down during this time. And the 1930s was a bad time for just the Great Depression overall was very bad, and we really didn't get out of it until World War II kicked off, and it completely boosted GDP. It gave many people jobs, as well as it sent the men off to war, which left room for there would be a lot of jobs, and completely just kicked off and kicked up the economy, and we got back on the right track.